And today we have my co-host. Do you want to introduce yourself, Lorelei?
Sure. I'm Lorelei Gilbert.
And how old are you?
5 years old.
That's a good age, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yep. So today we're going to have two different guests, and I hope you like them. I'm going to keep it a little bit of a secret, so you get to keep watching. But for our first segment, we're going to be doing a do's and don'ts. And I pre-recorded a video yesterday on do's and don'ts in auditioning, so I guess we'll go ahead and play that. Hey guys, it's me, Samantha, and for today's show, I'm going to be showing you a little bit of do's and don'ts on how to audition. So this audition that I'm doing is going to be a two-person, basically kind of like a cold read script. So I hope you like it. So first, I'm going to be doing the do's. So here we go. Hi, I'm Samantha here. I'm 14 years old and I'm with the Klutz Agency. I heard you got grounded again. So what is that, like the third time?
It's no big deal.
What are you watching?
Breakfast Club.
I've never heard of that. It looks really old. So what did you do?
It's really none of your business.
How long this time?
A month?
What did you do? Did you wreck Dad's car or something?
Don't you have a TV in your room?
Why, are you mad at me? And now for the don'ts. I'm going to be doing the exact same script and do what you shouldn't do. So here we go. Okay. Hi, I'm Samantha here. I'm 14 years old and I'm with the Klutz Agency. Should I go ahead and start now? Okay, I got the script here, so. Okay. I heard you got grounded again. What is that, like the third time?
It's no big deal.
What are you watching?
Breakfast Club.
How long? Is that good? Alright, thanks. Alright guys, well that's my video. So there's some really good pointers in there, you know, on outfit, wardrobe, and slate. So have you ever been to an audition, Lorelei?
Actually, I have.
You have?
Uh-huh.
Can you tell us about how you get your wiggles out before your auditions?
Yeah. First, I do a little silly dance, and I jump all crazy.
So you can get your nerves out before you go in?
Yeah.
So you can do really good?
Uh-huh.
Yeah? All right, well, that's a good tip, too, to get your nerves out. You do a little silly dance and you wiggle about, so when you're standing in your audition, you don't, fidget around, and you get to say your lines right. So, went blank for a second, but wardrobe is important, as I mentioned in the video. So that's my little do's and don'ts on wardrobe and auditions. So we will go ahead and cut to break, and our next guest will be in right after that.
Don't. Don't look in the basement. The makers of Last House on the Left warn you again. To avoid fainting, keep repeating. It's only a movie. Only a movie. Only a movie. The line between sanity and madness can be crossed in a single step. And with this step, you enter the nightmare world of terror. On the day the insane took over the asylum, Judge Kamen, whose iron self-control hides the urge to kill. Harriet, a mother's love, twisted into the malignant shape of evil. The sergeant, living in the hell of an aimless war, fighting a battle within himself that he lost long ago. Allison, in a desperate need for love, an obsession that could drive her to murder. Danny, whose sense of humor triggers a violent act of revenge. Dr. Masters, who has her own idea of the gentle art of healing. And Charlotte, who left the world of sanity and security, only to be trapped in the nightmare world of madness, a nightmare she cannot escape. They all met on the day the insane took over the asylum. Don't look in the basement. From Hallmark Releasing Corporation, rated R.
Hey guys, welcome back to Slate Me. I'm Samantha here, and this is my co-host Lorelei.
Hi.
And this is our guest. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name's Arian Martin. Hi.
All right, so me and Lorelei have a bit of questions for you. Do you want to start with your question, Lorelei?
Sure. When did you first start acting?
10 years ago. 10, 15 years if you include theater and kind of getting my feet wet. I started out filmmaking and not as an actor, so I got on the other side of the camera first and then slowly made my way in front of the camera. So.
Good answer. Okay, so you've been doing this a number of years, and
Yes.
you said behind the camera, in front of the camera. From being single to being married to having a baby while maintaining like a working actor career. How did you balance that all?
I mean, well, let's see. I mean, when you first start out, it's all a learning curve anyway. My husband is in the film industry, so that kind of went hand in hand. So we got to work a lot together. We produced a film called The Other Side of Paradise together, which we co-wrote, co-produced, and he directed and I starred in. So we kind of have like that going for us.
Yeah.
And then we had a surprise child that came into our life, and I think when you're passionate about something, you do everything you can to make it work. And he's been nothing but just a wonderful addition and joy in my life. It has made things a little more complicated juggling-wise, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, he's here now somewhere. But I'd always make a joke that, I would continue acting and working on films, and even if I had to just strap him on my back, we would just, and he really did. He would come with me to auditions when he was 6 months old, and I'd pass him to an actor that was waiting on their turn and be like, would you just watch him for like 5 minutes while I go in? And yeah, luckily he was not taken or anything.
So you've been a part of many films, over 50, right? As an actress, like as just an actress.
Probably.
Do you pick favorites, or do you have a favorite?
I mean, different ones stand out over time for sure. I mean, probably it was the one I made with my husband. But there's, I mean, they all stand out in different ways as far as the character or the experience or whatnot. And I mean, the longer you're in this business, hopefully you grow and continue to grow. So you look back and, you know, at the time, you did your best. and as, you know, hopefully you grow, then different films will, you know, take different spots. So, I mean, I won't say I have a particular favorite one. They just all kind of sit differently in my experience.
Oh, so a couple years back,
didn't
you
make
stepped
any
into an iconic cult classic when you joined the cast of Don't Look in the Basement 2. Did you study for the first film or find out the original director, things like that?
Well, fun story. I actually met the son of the original film, Anthony Brownrigg. I met him like through a mutual film or a friend, and I had just started acting, and they were looking for somebody with like interesting eyes or something, and he was shooting a promo for a different film. And when we met each other, it started raining, and I was like, let's do it. And so we ended up getting some great footage, and he was like, you know, she's you know, she'll do anything.
Yeah.
So he ended up writing a film called Red Victoria, which was a horror comedy about a undead muse that helps this writer who has writer's block. So I knew Anthony Brownrigg before Don't Look in the Basement 2 was even, you know, I think an idea. So eventually he had gotten, I don't know if it was permission or if he had gotten a lot of people on board and they really wanted to see it happen. And because, you know, he's the son of the original director, it just all kind of came together. So I had been familiar with the film. It was a completely different reimagination of it. So I watched it, but it wasn't really about studying it particularly.
Yeah. We played the 1973 version trailer for the film, so I guess we can go ahead and play the trailer for the, 2013?
I think so.
Film, Don't Look in the Basement 2. So, next question, which leads to my next question. What was it working with Anthony Brownrigg and filming the same building as the original film?
I mean, I love Anthony. We go so far back, and we've been friends for a really long time. So it's another funny story is I actually shot a film at the same location 5 years previously to even, it might have been right after I had shot Red Victoria, but we shot another film there. So the connections were kind of weird that I had already shot at that same location. I knew Anthony, and then to be able to be in the film was kind of a fun little, I don't know, what is that called?
Experience. Fun experience.
Weird little thing.
So you've also been on bigger budget films, one of which you played the oldest daughter of Nicolas Cage's character, Milton, in Drive Angry, which had a number of award nominations. What was that experience like?
I mean, that was actually a fantastic experience. It stars Nicolas Cage, and what's his name? The dad from Twilight. Oh,
I know exactly who
I
you're
know,
talking about.
and that's who my scenes were with him, and everybody was just amazing to work with. The director, Patrick Lussier, was so kind, because my scenes were a little bit kind of graphic in nature. I mean, the whole film is pretty graphic.
Yeah.
It's a very hard R. So just the gentleness that the whole crew and cast and the director, so it was a great experience. Like, we got treated wonderfully, and it was really fun.
That's great. You have an upcoming movie coming out called Anna, which I kind of worked on. I'll let you go ahead and explore. What was that film about?
Well, I met the guys kind of through a mutual friend, and they sent me the script and asked me if I wanted to audition. I was like, absolutely. So I have a small, fun role as a fortune teller in that film, but I don't want to give anything away. But
a few years back, you stepped into the documentary filmmakers world when you released Three Thumbs Up, a film where you interviewed a number of filmmakers to include the filmmaker of Super Troopers. What was your goal with that documentary?
That was another one that I worked on with my husband, and that particular project was right before all the new media outlets for film, like Netflix and just all the streaming that was before that. So it was a documentary to kind of follow independent filmmakers trying to get their film seen, pretty much. So we had this old station wagon that we drove all the way from Texas to New York and drove it all the way back, and it died the next day at the grocery store.
Wow.
We somehow survived. But it was fun. It's one of those that there's so much footage, and we got into editing it, and then things changed so quickly after that. That it started. It was one of those things that was right on the cusp. So it's something that we might revisit, but it's still kind of in the works as far as what the original intent was for and what it will become in the future, for sure.
Yeah. So to wrap up just a little bit, are any new projects on the horizon that you want to kind of promote or talk about for everybody to see?
Sure. I finished a film called The Harrowing, directed by John Keyes, and stars Michael Ironside and Arnold Vosloo, the guy who played the mummy in The Mummy. So I have a nice support lead, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
Wonderful group of people, fun script, another rated R movie, so, keep the kids at home when you go see that one. But that one, it should be coming out in the spring or summertime, so I'm really excited about that.
So Lorelei, you got any more questions before we go to break?
No.
No? All right, what do you think about our interview? Do you think it was good? I think that you are a very great actress, and I'm really happy to have you on my show.
Well, thank you.
I'm really looking forward to seeing all of your new projects coming up, and especially
After
Anna.
you
I'm
turn
really excited about
17.
So for our next, on this break, we're going to be cutting to an interview from Tegan Westall. I'm going to give my condolences to her family because they just had a very close loss in their family, so pray for them. But here we go. On a happier note, Tegan's interview will be right after this, so thank you so much for being on our show.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
All right,
Just
I'll see you after the break. You say
Just
something?
when you said that, I think of my Uncle Joey.
I'm sorry. All right, I guess we'll see you after the break.
New case file. Sam Withers, lobotomy patient, age 72. History shows a post-procedure incident at a place called Stevens Sanitarium where he murdered all the other patients and doctors. The one patient I get to try to impress the teacher, I can't fix because he doesn't have a brain.
Used to be considered a valid form of treatment.
If you're Frankenstein. Now, I don't know how, but something is happening to all of us, and the people in this file are the key.
Not just something. I didn't know who I was.
She didn't.
Everything started when Sam got here.
That would explain a whole lot about what's been going on here. I mean, like the ghosts and everything.
You're telling me that this place was once Stevens Sanitarium?
You didn't know?
Are you all right?
No, I'm not all right. Do you have any idea what's going on around here?
Yes, it's a mental institution.
It's his house. That Sam guy.
She started going crazy. I had to sedate her.
Why don't we just lock the door and get the hell out of here?
She might hurt someone.
Did you see what I just saw?
They're not after you. They're after all of us. You need to help me. What we need is some time to figure out what the hell is going on here before it gets any worse.
Hi, my name is Tegan Westall and I'm interviewing Jason Bailey, who is a full-time actor here in the UK for Slate Me. Thank you very much, Jason, for speaking with me today. So can you just tell us some general information about yourself, stuff maybe that people haven't heard from you before, like, I don't know, what's your favourite flavour of pizza? That's a good question.
Gosh, favourite pizza? Actually, yeah, I could very quickly used to live in London. I'm based in Bristol. There was a place just up the road from me in London that used to serve Fiorentinas, and the egg wouldn't be quite cooked. So you'd get home, and by the time you got home, the egg yolk would just kind of melt into the pizza. That was gorgeous.
Oh, that sounds amazing. You're going to make me hungry now. So what made you decide to get into acting? How did it kind of all start? Was there a kind of at school, or was it after?
Yes, at school I was in every single production going from when I was... I started gymnastics, and because of gymnastics there was always theatre performances that needed acrobatics and things at school, so I got into sort of mixing the physical theatre with the other things. So we did all sorts of things. We did 1984 actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, which was very bizarre. I played Napoleon, but I was Napoleon doing backflips, which is very odd. And then for some strange reason I was doing maths and physics based subjects. I ended up going off because everyone told me I should do an engineering degree, so I went off and did engineering. Realised that wasn't for me, went travelling, came back, and then studied drama when I came back because I knew that's kind of where I wanted to go. And literally my first job was straight into theatre. I did panto and then went into a theatre job after that.
I love panto. Which panto was it?
So it was Aladdin at Bradford, which is a 2,000 seater. It was on for 12 weeks. It was packed every single show. We had one of the De Veres is a magician, and he had Schnorbitz, this big dog, used to disappear on stage.
Oh.
And the kids would go wild because Schnorbitz would disappear. But I just remember one time when Schnorbitz disappeared, and obviously it goes through a hole in the floor on the stage, and all the kids are crying in the audience like, "Where's Schnorbitz gone?" And then you heard this woof, woof, and the dog's barking under stage. And so they had to come back up again anyway. It was a brilliant show. It was great. And as your first job,
yeah,
I got my equity card through it, and it was a really great job and a really great way of getting into.
Yeah. So obviously you are a full-time actor. That is your career. What are the challenges of that? Because I can imagine there are quite a few.
Obviously keeping enough work going. It's really hard if you think, right, okay, I'm just going to do theatre. In the UK, probably in anywhere, unless you're on Broadway, unless you're on the West End, the wage isn't great. And so you need to weigh up. You need to earn a living. So I found from very early stage that I needed to do the corporate, needed to do the commercials in order for me to be able to do the creative, in order for me to do even TV doesn't pay that much in this country, and films, low budget films. Most films in this country are fairly low budget. They're not the kind of multi-million-pound, and they're still quite low paying. So. You ask anybody, and all my friends are exactly the same. When I first started, everyone just got jobs in. They were pizza boys. Yeah. They were working in bars and stuff like this. And I was really fortunate. I got a couple of corporate jobs and I got a couple of commercials, and the commercials kept me going really. And that's what I still do today. If you said where do I make most of my money, it'll be on the commercial side.
Yeah.
And then I love doing all the creative.
Yeah.
Side as well.
Yeah.
But without one,
can't afford
to do the other.
Yeah. So, of all of the roles that you've played, whether it be a creative role or a corporate role, what's been your absolute favourite out of all? I know that's a pretty big...
What's been my favourite role? It's difficult because the corporate commercial side of things, you get to go to the most luxurious places in the world.
Yeah.
I did a 19-day film from New York to LA. And it was mainly to do with the sports I do. I do a lot of sports, and so I was employed to launch a car, but they wanted me to, I think, across America. I skied, I snowboarded, I ran, I dived, I paddled, in pretty much all of the locations in America. So I was in Colorado paddling down the rivers. I was mountain biking in Moab. I abseiled off the Fairmount in San Francisco. I got a helicopter that dropped me into Monument Valley, and I was on one of the pinnacles of Monument Valley, and a helicopter went round me. It was very much a kind of Mission Impossible thing.
Yeah.
I had to finish the climb, and then the helicopter went round me and just deliver a few lines on the computer. So in the sense of wow factor, that's a wow factor. But in terms of favourite, probably I think most challenging role, I did a play of Stephen King's Misery.
I love that.
Okay, so for me that was probably the toughest role I've ever played. It was a two-hander.
Yeah. I take it you were Paul Charlotte.
I played Paul. So it was a two-hander. It was, I'm on stage the entire time. I didn't get off stage. I go from lying in a bed to a wheelchair, having my leg chopped, all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
So in terms of challenge, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was probably the best challenge I've ever had. It really pushed me. And I loved it, actually.
I bet. So me and Jason are playing together in Accepting Her, which is a short film by Strong Eye Productions. I play Tori, who's the lead, and Jason plays John, who plays Tori's father. What's he like to play?
Well, it's interesting because, again, it's a real challenge, actually. And this is that whole challenge versus the sort of commercial side of things. It's, probably like you, I came across the script, I said, this is really interesting. It's very different. I guess for those who don't know, you play my daughter who is asexual, we can say that.
Yeah.
And so she has both genitalia, and I play a businessman stroke politician who basically doesn't accept that there's a flaw in his life. And at the time he has a wife and he has a daughter. And what's interesting is that it goes against everything I personally probably would believe.
Yeah.
In that, if I was your dad, I think it's absolutely your choice. But John doesn't believe that.
Yeah.
And I think for me that was the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Was because, as actors we're asked to do things out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it's about, I have a son, as you know, I have a little 2-year-old boy, but I don't know this. I've never been in this position. So for me to try and work out how John would not accept his daughter for what she is, or male, because it's her choice, was probably the hardest thing for me. And trying to get into the psyche of, he's a businessman, which is easy, he's fine. He then, obviously, am I allowed to give this away? He loses his wife.
I don't know, I'll cut it if not.
And is left with a daughter, and then he then believes that she is a blip on his personality and a blip on his life, and that was my way in. For me, it was trying to get something in my life where I didn't want it to be there.
Yeah.
And so that's how I treated your character, and it grew from there, really. And I think John got, I don't think he was ever angry about it. I just think it was something he really seriously felt that a decision needed to be made.
Yeah. So moving back a little bit, the industry as a whole is obviously a very big beast, and everyone has a very different kind of opinion on it, what you should and shouldn't do. What would you say are your, in a modern day age, the likes and the dislikes about the industry?
Ooh, how long have you got? We're going back to when, I'm not saying, it sounds terrible that I haven't been in the industry that long, but I've been in it long enough for it to have been very different when I started. When I started, you needed an equity card. You absolutely couldn't work with an equity card. You couldn't, all your work pretty much came through your agent. There were a few jobs, this is based in London, there were a few jobs that used to come out on sheets of paper once a week that you would read through, you would then send your application off, you would then get a reply maybe 1 or 2 weeks later. The difference today is that it is all about here and now. It's about reacting to a job's here, they want to know tomorrow. And in a way, the downside to that, and this is where I'm not going to go off and on one too much, a really good example is that I'm involved in a project at the moment, and they're wanting to cast someone purely on his followers, because they know that there will be, he will Twitter about it, he will put it on Facebook every day when he's on set. Is he the right person for the role? I mean, we can talk about millions of films where the person isn't the right person for the role, but they're there. Hollywood's a brilliant example. People are there because of the money that can be made. It's, at the end of the day, you've got to look at the world. It's a business.
Yeah.
You've got to make money. So if you're borrowing 100,000 to make a film, you need to make that back.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why they're doing it. But when you're in it, it's really frustrating because you may be working opposite someone who's not right for the role.
Yeah.
They can't. Yes, they've got 100 million trillion Twitter followers, whatever it is. In this, 100,000 isn't a lot anymore, is it?
No.
100,000 seems to be like the norm now.
Yeah.
And so if you've got 100,000 people and they're all listening to you, then that's a selling point. And so now you've got to change. You've got to market yourself much more now than I used to.
Yeah.
I used to sit back and have an agent that would get everything for me, and then I'd do my own little bits. Now, it's at least 50-50. Your agent gets things that will come on the kind of higher end. The TVs usually go through agents, the big commercials, the big films.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot more that's happening below that now. There's a lot more films being happening, and people are being cast because of their social presence.
Yeah. And so this is a hard question, and
gosh.
no one's ever managed this yet, so this is a challenge.
Right, on the spot.
Could you sum up the industry for you in one sentence? No one's ever managed it.
A tough cookie.
There you go. Jason is the first person that's ever managed that.
I know, I've got a sentence for you. Don't be under any illusion.
Yeah. It's definitely...
Because people think, I'll just get into acting and, I'll just make it. Well, if I said to you, okay, you're an accountant, you don't just make it being an accountant. You've got to work.
Yeah.
And I think people forget that. They see the 1 or 2 celebs who all of a sudden make it and haven't done anything, or they appear to have not done anything.
Yeah.
But actually, they're working so hard. One of the really annoying things about this whole industry is people say, you only work a couple of days a week. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in front of the computer all the time. I'm in meetings, or I'm going to see people. I'm going to London tomorrow just to see someone.
Yeah.
I'm seeing someone on Friday. I've got a meeting on Friday. You're constantly chasing work. It doesn't matter what level you're at. You ask any actor or any grade, they are constantly chasing work.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That wasn't in one sentence, was it?
No, you gave me a sentence at the beginning, because people tend to go, what's this one sentence? Well, and then they just go off on one. But
exactly.
No, it's definitely true. But thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I'm Tegan Westall. This is Jason Bailey. Thank you very much.
This Slate Me music segment is brought to you by the multi-Grammy Award-winning Blue Cat Studios, located in the King William District of San Antonio, and by Hohner Instruments, a music tradition since 1857, and by H. Jimenez Guitars, tradition with innovation.
Welcome back to Slate Me. I'm Samantha here, and this is my co-host Lorelei. And for our next segment, we're going to be listening to Abby Joyce singing her own song, Awoken. It's a really pretty song, and I've heard it before, and I'm really excited for y'all to hear it. So here's Abby Joy.
I'm never enough. At least now I'm starting to see. Turn it off, turn it off. Are you faking? 'Cause I can never see the truth. I am taking steps to learn about you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So wake me up. I'm living someone else's dream. I'm never enough. At least now I'm starting to see. So wake me up.
guys, welcome back. That was a really, really pretty song.
Thank you.
I really like that one of yours.
Thanks.
All right, so I guess me and Lorelei will ask you a couple questions. You want to go ahead and start with yours?
Sure. When did you first start singing?
I started singing when you first started acting at 3 years old. I remember my mom told me that when we went to the Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado, which is this huge theater out in the foothills, so it's all made of real rocks.
I've never really traveled anywhere.
Yeah, well, it's a really cool place to sing, but it's really big. And she said she put me on the stage, and they went all the way to the back. And she said she could hear me singing even when I was 3 years old. It was super
Wow.
little.
So you wrote that song yourself. For me, I like to sing, but I have a really hard time songwriting. So how would you give any tips for people trying to songwrite?
Yeah, sure. I think songwriting comes from your personal stories. So, every song that I've written has been inspired by either something in my life or my friends' lives or just a feeling that I have. So songwriting is really just bringing your emotions and who you are onto paper.
Yeah.
So the less you try, the better your songs usually are.
I agree. So do you just do singing or do you acting and stuff as well?
Well, I'm an actress as well, and a model and a dancer. Yeah, so actually...
I've been on a runway before.
You have too? I've never even been on a runway. Was it fun? I bet.
And I could also take off shoes.
You could also take off shoes.
Me too.
When you have heels on, you always want to take off your shoes.
I didn't have heels on. I had sandals.
That's
but
good.
my feet were hot on the bottom.
That's good then. Absolutely. Yeah, so right now I'm working on a few projects. I know Sammy here actually directed my last music video, which will be coming out next month. And I'm currently working on a short film called Don't Drink the Water. And Sammy is a part of that production
I'm also directing
team.
that one too. So.
But the director, Esau Curry, is wonderful, and he's also editing my current music video.
It's great.
I love this Dallas scene because everybody's a family. The filmmakers all support each other, and you see the same faces a lot. So.
Yeah, so I know I'm trying to make you pick between your babies, but if you had to pick one, acting or singing?
Nah. I honestly don't think I could. I love him too much. When I first moved here, I asked God, I was like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to sing or do you want me to act? Like, what's my calling? And he just placed all these things in my lap, and he was like, Abby, you can do both. So that's when I kind of accepted, like, you know what, I'm going to own both of those dreams and follow through on both of those.
Speaking of picking favorites, do you have a favorite song you've ever written?
That's hard. I don't think I have a favorite. I think it changes.
That's good.
I think, every couple months I'll be like, man, this song is amazing. And
yeah.
I love it. And I listen to myself like a dork, like my own recordings. I'm jamming to my own music in the car. I'm like, this is so good. But I think it changes depending on my mood or my newer songs. A lot of times I like my newer songs.
I have a new song too.
You do?
It's called Don't Drop Down.
Don't Drop Down. Really? Can you sing a little bit for us?
Sure.
Okay, how's it go?
Don't drop down because you are the best. You aren't slow, you are fast.
That was
really good.
That's awesome. That's a really happy song too. It pushes people to move forward, huh? I like that.
That was really good, Lorelei. Do you get a lot of influence from radio, pop music? What, your favorite genre to pull from, I guess?
Yeah, I do, absolutely. You know, a lot of times when I hear a song or a rhythm or a specific beat that I like to jam to, or a riff in the guitar, I do derive a lot of my music from that. I think you take inspiration in all these different places and it ends up being something unique. But yeah, I definitely listen to really wide variety of music. I sing in a jazz band and I sing jazz, but when I'm in my car, I jam to a lot of electro pop and like really ridiculous electronic music. So yeah, it's just everywhere. Pull from all those special places.
That's important to keep it, fresh and new and not the same old stuff everybody listens to nowadays.
Yeah.
All right, so to wrap it up just a little bit, do you have anything you want to promote or put out there? Any new music coming up?
Yes. I'm in the middle of recording some new songs for the film Don't Drink the Water. So look forward to hearing that soon. You can hear most all of my music on abbyjoymusic.com. And yeah, I'm working on that. I have 2 feature films coming out. The Jesus Freak is coming to AMC theaters in April 21st. So you'll be able to see me there. And yeah, just follow me because I've got a lot going on.
Awesome. You got anything to say before we go, Lorelei?
Yes.
Yeah?
If you ever drop down, don't let anybody tell you what you're supposed to look like or do.
I agree. That's some good advice.
Absolutely. Never give up.
Yep. Thank you so much, Abby Joy, for singing for us and being on my show. I really am looking forward to seeing your new music and listening to, the new song that you said you're recording coming up. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. So we will cut to break and wrap up our show right after this 2-minute break. So see you then. Hey guys, welcome back to Slate Me. So we are at the last segment of our show, and as I said last week, we are giving away this particular H. Jimenez guitar, and it has our guest from today's signatures already on it. So, and a chance to win this, today's word is Aurora. At the very end of all of the shows, there will be 7 words you email into at slatemetv@gmail.com. And we will randomly pick one of you to win this guitar with all of our guests' signatures on it. So Lorelei here gets to sign it too. Are you excited?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lorelei. Did you have fun on our show today?
Yes.
I'm glad. Do you have anything you want to say before we leave for this show?
Yes.
Yeah?
I'm about to be back tomorrow.
She's gonna be back tomorrow. Awesome. So I hope you enjoyed our guests today. I'm really excited for next show. I'll see y'all next Thursday. Bye, everybody.